the bird tier list. I don't know what this is. I'm assuming we are going to be ranking various species of birds. Now, me personally, I think the best bird is the ostrich, in my humbled opinion, okay? They big as hell, they fast as hell, and they look mean as hell, you know what I'm saying? They like pick you on the ass, you know what I'm saying? Try to eat your ass cheek and stuff, so I'm an ostrich type of guy. You know what I'm saying? They don't fly, but who needs to fly when you've got turbo in one kneecap and nitrous in the other kneecap? You know what I'm saying? Just turn on the fucking jets. You know what I mean?
Birds are one of the most popular playable classes in the game. Birds are one of the most popular playable classes in the game, with a huge number of successful builds and tons of cool strategies. However, some of these strategies have clearly been more successful than others. So today we'll be going over the bird tier list to see which bird ranks highest.
You know what else is a dope-ass fucking bird? Vultures. Oh, dude, vultures are, even though they're scavengers, bro, vultures, them motherfuckers is on demon time, bro.
But before we get into looking at specific bird builds, let's do an overview of the basic attributes and special abilities the bird faction has access to, as well as a quick rundown of the history of the bird faction.
Okay.
So birds are one of the newer factions in the game,
I hope everybody's writing this down.
joining the game's roster during the latter part of the Mesozoic expansion. They began as an offshoot of the dinosaur faction that was specifically adapted to arboreal gameplay, but when the devs dropped the Cenozoic balance patch, these small avians were the only dinosaurs not to be hit by the banhammer. Fast forward to today's meta, and birds are one of the most successful factions in the game, owing this success to a handful of powerful unique abilities, in addition to the obvious flying attribute. First of which is their beak. Now, beaks were not an entirely new ability for the reptile player base, but birds went far deeper into the beak skill tree than most dinosaurs ever had, with many bird players opting for extremely specialized beaks to give them an edge in specific scenarios. However, even the basic beak offers plenty of advantages.
These birds are a bunch of fucking bullies, bro. Like this, see, I'm seeing all these animals and they just vibing, and then these fucking birds are just gonna walk up to and start pecking them with their damn beaks. Like, dude, like nobody really trusts pigeons, bro. But apparently, all common birds are just on demon timing, bro. They just trying to hit licks and stuff, bro.
Their lack of teeth
just
does mean that they deal
through
reduced
the
damage with their bite attack. Birds can be far more accurate with their pecking attacks, enabling them to hit weak points or secure grabs on smaller targets, such as the thin hurt box of a snake. Beaks also offer moderate protection, potentially reducing headshot damage and nullifying imprecise counterattacks. Beaks also offer some of the best stab-type damage in the game, which, when used accurately, can deal massive damage on crit. Beaks are also excellent tools for dealing with parasites. In fact, they're so good that oftentimes, other less dexterous players will party up with bird support players in order to have a better matchup against parasites. Feathers are also a unique and powerful trait exclusive to birds that provides excellent cold protection without causing the user to become too over-encumbered to fly. Feathers also offer pretty substantial defense against crush-type attacks, which is especially important to birds because of their hollow bones trait. Hollow bones are another ability meant to synergize with the flying playstyle. Now, a common misconception is that bird bones are hollow in order to reduce equipment load, but actually they're hollow in order to let
Okay, let's just get to the list. Okay, he's talking about dev patches. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, dude.
Let's get into the tier list.
Okay, for some birds. Kiwi and cockapoo.
At the bottom of the tier list, we have
a cockapoo.
Two flightless bird builds, both with essentially the same glaring weakness. These are the kiwi and kakapo. Kiwis are hilariously part of the same faction as ostriches, emus, and cassowaries.
Yeah, shout out the ostrich, baby! Let's fucking go!
For some reason, they opted to give up the flight ability, but didn't use the extra available skill points to spec into gigantism like the rest of their squad did. The result is a build that can literally only exist on island servers where there is no active mammal player base, aka New Zealand. The kakapo is a flightless version of the parrot, and although parrots are undoubtedly excellent bird builds, the flightless weakness is too glaring to ignore. Due to invasive species like rats and cats establishing a presence on island servers, both of these flightless bird builds are seeing major declines in their player base, and I would not be surprised if they all—
Bro, he's just— he was just strolling along, he's seen the cat and he's like, ah, shit, bro.
Bird builds are seeing major declines in their player base, and I would not be surprised if they all ended up switching mains. Flight is just too strong an ability to pass up, which brings me to the next builds on my tier list. So I see what these builds were going for. Being giant could potentially make up for the lack of flight, but in practice—
Let's fucking go! I'm gonna have an ostrich! I will have an ostrich! Okay, it'll be my security guard, and his name's gonna be Melvin. Imagine breaking into my house at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you think you're gonna steal the family jewels, and a big-ass ostrich, right? Melvin the ostrich, just comes strolling out the fucking kitchen, bro. You ain't gonna steal from my house no more, bro, I'm telling you.
This didn't quite pan out. While these are technically the strongest birds in terms of base power and defensive stats, for their weight class, they are woefully underpowered. They're one of the few Megafauna builds that can be taken down by cheetahs, when they should be able to completely annihilate cheetahs with their powerful claws. Their huge weak point presents a lot of—
Yeah, but if you notice, them cheetahs was 3-on-1, cause they a pack of bitches. 1-on-1, ostriches clapping every single one of them. Stop playing with me.
Opportunity for counterattack.
Stop playing with me.
So if they ever get too bold, they're setting themselves up for a tough loss. Lastly, the fact that they are forced to nest on the ground forces them into an even more vulnerable position than most birds, as ratite eggs are extremely valuable as loot. Objective defense is not an easy task even for high-tier builds, so for ostriches, emus, and cassowaries, this is a huge hurdle.
Who gives a shit about them damn eggs? Man, no one, fuck them kids!
Tier list we have the Hummingbird. This build spec'd purely into mobility and just about nothing else, and as a result is the only bird build with full 360-degree movement, similar to a dragonfly. This, combined with its extremely small size, enables the Hummingbird to very quickly change direction mid-flight, allowing it to easily dodge attacks and fly around obstacles.
Bro, he got the
More
move.
importantly, it allows the Hummingbird to access nectar,
Muhammad Ali,
which is an extremely valuable source of energy that's normally inaccessible to birds, since birds are usually too heavy to land on flowers, and not agile enough to— This all sounds great, but the Hummingbird also has two very serious weaknesses. The first is pretty obvious. They have no combat prowess at all, and any attack they fail to dodge will send them right back to the character select screen. But in addition to that, the insane energy cost of their flight ability, combined with their total lack of fat storage, means hummingbirds will run out of stamina very quickly if they can't constantly find food. To me, this is a high-risk, high-reward strategy where the risk far outweighs the reward, so I have to place them in F tier.
Yo, wait a minute! He put ostriches—
Reward strategy where the risk far outweighs the reward, so I have to place—
You put ostriches in F? This dude clearly does not know birds like I do, bro. Clearly he ain't a bird expert like me, bro. Alright, clearly he wasn't blessed and gifted with the knowledge of aviation creatures, bro. Clearly.
Place them in F tier.
Clearly.
At the bottom
Ostriches do not suck. Ostriches do not suck. How do ostriches suck? Why? Because they lose 5-on-1 gang initiations by the fucking cheetahs? Is that why? Like I said, 1-on-1, them cheetahs ain't shit, bro. Them cheetahs ain't shit. Why? Because it's eggs on the ground? Fuck them kids, bro. Fuck them kids, bro. You know what I'm saying? Fuck birds, every single bird. What's wrong with the birds? You don't fuck with birds? What's wrong with birds? They can't fly and are dumb. I wouldn't say they're dumb. Maybe they're just a little slow. Maybe they're just a little slow. Okay? These motherfuckers, pigeons, okay? Pigeons were spies. Okay? The pigeons aren't even real, by the way. Fun fact, in case you didn't know, pigeons aren't even real. They're not. They're drones. created by the CIA and the American government to spy on people. So all you anti-vax bozos talking about it, you gonna get chipped and tracked? You already tracked, bro. Why do you think there's so many pigeons everywhere? Cause they tracking your dumb ass.
Here we have the pigeon. The pigeon build doesn't really have any critical flaws, but they're held back by mediocre stats. In particular, the pigeon is sorely lacking in any combat-focused stat, like power or defense. They do best in cities where their excellent navigation ability grants them an extra bit of safety, by nesting among high-rises in loot-rich locations. But even in cities, pigeon players tend to be the main source of XP for higher-tier predators. Plus, if you're just looking to play a bird build that's good at looting cities, there are better options
You look like a bird, so I don't like them. What does that mean?
available anyway.
The
peacock build is another generally understated build.
Peacocks are cool, bro. At the zoo,
High
they got peacocks that just walk around freely. They just be walking around freely, and if you walk up to it, it'll flex on you, bro. It'll flex the diamonds, bro. Flex the bust down. It's crazy.
But little else to rely on.
Peacocks are cool.
It does, however, have one of the highest intimidation proficiency bonuses in the game,
not...
gaining a massive buff to all intimidation checks when its eye spot feather ability is activated. As impressive as this ability is, the peacock's actual attacks do very little damage, so any player able to resist being frightened will have a pretty easy win. The peacock's diamatic display also blocks vision behind itself, making a stealth approach by a third-party attacker extremely easy. And while they can escape by flying, the feathers of a peacock are so heavy that getting airborne takes a bit longer than most birds, which can be the difference between dodging or dying when under attack.
Flamingos.
The flamingo is a bit of an AFK class. Very minimal skill is actually required to pilot this build. They opted to spec into the filter feeding ability, meaning all they really need to do to gain experience and progress their character is pick a random spot in the lake bed and start digging around with their beak.
Flamingos do a very good job at minding their own business,
scoring free wins against things like snails and shrimp. However, when faced with a challenge from any player anywhere near its size, this build totally falls apart. They rely on water to impede the approach of predators in order to give them time to escape when attacked. However, this doesn't always work. You
say peacock, no one bats an eye, but when you say poocock, everyone goes insane.
Their pathetic defensive stats mean they go down in 1 or 2 hits, and their slow flight startup means that oftentimes players will have time to rush them down even when they're in the water. This is an easy build to rack up a bunch of experience with, but also a very easy build to defeat if you know their weaknesses.
Why am I just now finding out? Baboons be eating flamingos?
Build to defeat if you know their weaknesses.
Chickens, okay.
The humble chicken. Often compared to the T-Rex to exemplify how far the dinosaur faction has fallen. While I disagree with the implication, I don't disagree that chickens are indeed a low-tier build. While they aren't anywhere near as totally helpless as the kiwi or kakapo, they're still a barely average statted bird that lacks the ability to fly for any extended distance. They can certainly hold their own against most similarly sized opponents, but with poor escape options and no unique abilities, this build faces an uphill battle against most opponents. Well, okay, I shouldn't say no unique abilities, but to be honest, their fast respawn rate kinda backfired on them due to humans using the factory farming strategy. Next in C tier we have the vulture build, the tankiest variant of the raptor subclass. A good tank build.
Raptor? Wait, vultures came from raptors? Dude, I always knew vultures had some badass qualities about them. Ooh, that's hard, bro. Raptors is one of the best dinosaurs, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the vultures came from, that's hard, bro.
To be able to accomplish two things. The first is area denial, which vultures do quite well. A few of them can easily lock down a carcass, one of the most contested points of interest you'll ever see on the map. They can do this because of their large size and acidic projectile attack. The other thing a tank must be good at is shrugging off hits, and this is where vultures fall short. Their thick feathers easily shield them completely from smaller attacks, but because of their hollow bones, blunt force can easily crush their defenses and take them down in only a hit or two. So while they can defend a carcass from hordes of smaller scavengers, they don't have much counterplay towards bigger, more aggressive brawlers.
The command post is now under hostile control.
Oh my fucking god! Oh my god! there was a 2-week span, right? This summer, there was a 2-week span where there was a fucking woodpecker in somebody's backyard. And for 3 hours, bright and early, 6 a.m., that motherfucker was pecking. Oh my god, bro, I was about to lose my mind.
Of their evolution points optimizing
These
and
shits
perfecting
piss me
peck
off
attacks,
so
both in power
bad.
and efficiency, with one
Oh
goal
my
in mind,
gosh.
to be able to hit insect players through cover. Burrowing is one of the safest, most effective ways insect players can avoid combat. But the woodpecker absolutely demolishes this strategy. One of the main advantages of this strategy is that having a powerful beak that's highly effective at drilling through wood also just means you've got a super sharp beak that's highly effective as a general purpose weapon. One of the main disadvantages of this strategy is that pecking at wood gives the woodpecker's location away, alerting more powerful predators to its presence, while it's in the middle of pecking and is distracted. One particular woodpecker build, the toucan, opted to spec into more bulk.
When did a woodpecker become a toucan? The fuck? Bro, I have a burning hatred for woodpeckers, bro. But I love me some Fruit Loops, dude. So this is a conflict of interest.
More powerful beak, which, while less useful for attacking insects through the wood, is still extremely powerful for PvP. All in all, interesting strategy. By no means flawless, but definitely has some solid strengths. So, I know I've been pretty hard on flightless birds up until now,
Ooh,
so you might be surprised to see me rate penguins.
Penguins make a great army. Penguins make a great army, bro. Just send a whole horde of penguins at somebody like fucking torpedoes, bro.
As upper mid-tier rather than
when
low
I conquer Antarctica, bro,
tier.
I'm telling you.
The difference is penguins actually swapped out their wings for an arguably equally viable alternative, flippers, which essentially allow them to fly through the water with incredible agility. This gives them a downright broken matchup against fish. However, this strategy is pretty much only viable on servers where there are no land-based predators that penguins would still need to worry about. So if for whatever reason a few polar bears ever spawn in the Antarctic server, it's kind of game over for that entire build. The predators they have to contend with in the water are even more dangerous, and while their agility does help them dodge attacks, ultimately it's still a totally one-sided matchup. Their strategy is pretty cool and actually fairly dominant due to limited competition, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the entire penguin player base collapse if the devs ever add new DLC in the form of an Antarctic land predator, or even if they just buff the land mobility of the leopard seal. Still, top of C tier is a respectable position for a flightless bird.
Goose! You put the motherfucking goose above an ostrich? Geese! The motherfuckers that just shit everywhere and are just nothing but a straight fucking nuisance. Bro, I was in high school one time and I knew this girl and she got chased by a goose. She got chased by a goose, bro, because we was having class outside and the geese was trying to fuck with us, so she tried to scare the goose away, but it just pissed her, she just pissed it off, and it started chasing her and tried to eat her, bro. Fuck geese, bro. Fuck geese. All my homies hate geese.
B tier we have the goose. I've got an entire video dedicated to the goose build.
Geese don't give a shit about nothing.
The goose has solid base stats, including above average hit points. However, its abysmal power stat leads it to rely heavily on intimidation to secure territory. This can be unbelievably effective at times, and it's not uncommon to see top-tier predators flee an encounter that they easily could have won. Still, the obvious flaw in this strategy is that if the goose's opponent resists being frightened, the goose will be wide open to a punishing counterattack. In addition, the goose's weak spot is...
dude, that goose got fucked up!
The goose will be wide open to a punishing counterattack.
Oh my god, dude, that goose got
In addition, the goose's weak spot is easily exploitable by intelligent players, so careless aggression tends to be the goose's biggest strength and biggest weakness at the same time. All in all, still a surprisingly effective strategy.
Heron.
The heron build put a huge amount of evolution points into maxing out the puncture damage it can deal with its beak, and it did so to great success. Herons have one of the highest damage pecks of any bird, and frequently one-hit their targets, even those with scale armor like large fish and juvenile crocodiles. The effectiveness of their piercing attack is amplified by their long neck, which gives their attacks a deceptively long range, giving their strikes an almost cobra-like flash to them. They have downright oppressive matchups against fish, amphibians, and all other small aquatic builds. One vulnerability they do have is that their flight ability has a lot of startup, making it a bit less reliable as an escape option if they do happen to get ambushed. Still, it's certainly not terrible. Another weakness is that their long neck presents a bit of a weak point, making lunging forward with repeated pecking attacks a bit risky if you get too predictable about it. Good players will be able to punish careless lunges quite hard.
Falcons
In high
are
B tier, we have the Falcon,
badass.
a raptor build that opts to defeat its opponents using speed and superior
Falcons, I'm not shocked Falcons came from Raptors too, bro. Falcons are cool as
maneuvering
fuck.
rather than actual power.
Falcons are cool as
Falcons
fuck.
actually have a below average power stat for a
How'd it
raptor,
be like,
and
ooh.
don't deal particularly
Dude,
high damage
Falcons
in
are
close
crazy.
combat. Their talons are pretty small compared to hawks, owls, and eagles, and
I
so
fuck
instead
with
of
hawks
slashing
too.
and
Hawks are
stabbing with
crazy
their claws,
too.
Falcons actually punch with their feet to disorient or concuss their target, and then finish the fight with their more powerful beak. In the right situation, this can deal absolutely massive damage, enough to one-shot a mid-sized target at full HP. The drawback of this strategy is that Falcons can only dish out high damage when they have the time to build up speed first. This makes the Falcon a pretty poor defender for objective game modes, and means the Falcon can struggle to win fights if its first attack doesn't connect, as follow-up attacks will likely not have the same force built up as the first. Still, the burst damage potential of this build cannot be ignored, so it earns its spot in high B tier.
Shout out Captain Falcon. Songbird.
This might seem like an odd inclusion to cap off B tier, but songbirds are a highly efficient build for their size, and do deserve recognition on this tier list. This is a huge group, including finches, starlings, sparrows, wrens, and birds of paradise. And while some are flashier than others, they all have relatively similar stats, with extremely high
just some
agility being their
normal-ass
core
little
stat.
birds.
Unlike many of the builds lower on the tier list that have difficulty getting themselves airborne quickly, songbirds have extremely low startup on their flight move, allowing them to reposition themselves easily and quickly. This makes their approach very difficult to punish,
Bro,
making songbirds
that praying mantis is squaring up, bro. Like the motherfucker from Kung Fu Panda, bro.
and quickly.
He walked
This
the
makes
hands.
their approach very difficult to punish, making songbirds excellent at chipping away at defensive players, and makes them great at stealing loot from slower builds.
Yoink.
Their safety in numbers strategy can actually be somewhat intimidating and disorienting too, making it rather difficult to attack a party of songbirds mid-flight. While they certainly aren't invincible, having one of the lower HP stats among birds, they're an often overlooked but undoubtedly successful bird build.
Swans.
At the bottom of
Bro,
8,
swans, I don't have anything bad to say about swans. I really don't. I really don't, bro. They just, they're peaceful, right? They're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? They're a symbol of love. Unless, or is that doves? I don't fucking know,
here
bro.
we have the swan.
Swans are alright, bro.
The swan is essentially a goose that has the power stat to actually back up
Oh, it's a goose! My opinion is slowly changing.
attempts to intimidate. The wing attacks that most bird players use do very little damage and aren't very useful aside from pushing other players around. The swan's wing attack can break bones and concuss foes. Because
Oh
of this,
my
swans
God.
are one of the best builds at controlling important points of interest, as their hyper-aggressive playstyle can result in huge territory gains. Of course, they do have the same weaknesses as geese, so targeting the swan's neck with an attack can defuse the threat. But this is a bit riskier of a play against a swan than against a goose. All around,
Bro,
sturdy
he's
defender,
just swinging that
definitely
thing
A
around
tier.
like a fucking whip.
Next in A tier we have the owl,
Owls.
the avian faction's
Ooh, owls are cool as fuck too.
premier stealth assassin build. It owes this
Stealth
reputation to its special
assassin,
ability,
that's
which allows it to
hard.
fly completely silently. This makes the owl's strikes very difficult to defend against, as
Swans
players
can
just about
fuck you
never
up, they
see
can
them
break your
coming.
arm.
While not as stacked in the power department as their daytime counterparts, owls do have quite solid base stats. While they aren't likely to one-shot high HP targets, they do have enough force behind their attacks to be able to defend themselves and their territory, even from powerful enemies.
Owls are
In
cool
addition
as
to
shit.
granting the owl the silent flight perk, the owl's thick, bushy feathers offer additional defense against attacks, enabling it to stand its ground
And
in
they got the
important-
camouflage, bro. And they got the fucking, and they got the head. Bro, owls are dope, bro.
objective defense scenarios.
Shout out owls, bro.
Interestingly, the silent flight perk did come at the cost of the waterproof ability that most bird feathers have, meaning that falling into the water or getting caught in a rainstorm can actually disable the owl's flight ability. A pretty unique weakness, and certainly something that can be played around, but interesting nonetheless.
Hawks and eagles, bro.
In the middle of A tier,
the
we have
big Papa, bro. These are the, bro, Eagles and Hawks, dude. I don't think anybody's denying, bro, that these
Eagles
dude,
and Hawks. Hawks
that's
and
like
Eagles.
that's like the T-Rex. You know what I'm saying? That's like the T-Rex, right? That's like the Optimus Prime, bro. That's like the big dog in the doghouse.
Both having tailored
You know
their
what I mean?
builds to focus on dealing maximum damage with their talons. Hawks are the smaller variants of this group, and because of this they are far more agile. While not as powerful as eagles, their agility enables them to weave through cover better than most birds of prey. This makes them well suited for rushing down players both in open terrain and in dense, difficult to navigate terrain like forests. Eagles, in contrast, are much more powerful, but their larger size and wider wingspan prevents them from entering dense forests.
Dude, he's
Still,
picking
in
up a
open
whole
prairies
fucking
and mountains, eagles can be
ass
incredibly
deer.
effective, dealing absolutely brutal damage with their enormous dagger-like talons. Enough to take down players in higher weight classes without even requiring team strategies. These are without a doubt some of the
Dude,
strongest bird
that's
builds in
sick.
the game.
If you have Hawks and Eagles in S or in A, then what's an S, bro? What's an S?
PvP, and have been for quite some time.
Pelicans? Okay.
At the top of A tier, we have
I
the
fuck with
grappler tank
pelicans.
hybrid, the Pelican. The
fuck with
Pelican's
pelicans.
main strength is its throat pouch. Grappling enemy
Did my guy
players can
Anthony
be a
Davis
highly
dirty?
effective takedown strategy, but birds struggle with this since they can't use their wings to grab, and since their beaks aren't always the most reliable grappling weapons, sometimes leading to targets escaping. The Pelican's grapple is, in contrast, almost totally inescapable, and works on targets much larger than you might think. While this attack style is most effective against fish, it's quite powerful against other bird, rodent, and amphibian
not the
players,
turtle, bro.
although it does have its limitations. This, combined with the Pelican's overall bulk, makes it one of the most difficult birds to take down in single combat, and enables it to stand its ground against even top tiers like canines. So, those of you who follow the channel for a while can probably guess what the top tier birds are going to be.
S-tier. Tell me, show me the birds that are supposedly so much better than ostriches, okay? Apparently, ostriches don't hold a fucking candle to this trio, bro. So please, enlighten me, Mr. Bird Expert.
If you can't, that's
since
probably
you know
a good
every fucking
indication that you
thing.
should be subscribed.
What the fuck even is that? Secretary Bird. What? I don't even know what that is. Like, what you gonna answer phones, file some papers, do some bookkeeping? Like, oh, that's soft as fuck. What you mean it's better than an ostrich, bro?
Those of you wishing the devs could unban the Velociraptor build, look no further than the Secretary Bird, as it has basically all the same awesome abilities and more. Hunting on foot and in pairs, they prove time and time again that striking from the sky is overrated. They can easily defeat other high-tier builds such as the Cobra and Mongoose with their high-damage kicks.
Weak.
Their stomp move has extremely high accuracy, allowing
He said,
Secretary Bird
"What?
players to score
Bro."
game-ending headshots with ease, and they do all this without completely sacrificing their flight ability. If they ever find themselves outmatched, which only ever happens against builds in higher weight classes, they can still retreat to the sky or treetops. The fact that this strategy works in Africa, one of the most unforgiving servers of all time, is proof enough to me that this is the optimal Raptor. These last two
Dude,
builds are
now that I see it, bro, I'm kind of fucking with the Secretary, bro.
about equally
You know what I'm
matched,
saying?
both opting for the same specialization, intelligence.
I'm fucking with the Secretary. Okay,
Parrots
parrots
are
are
an extremely
badass.
unique build.
Okay, I'll give you the parrot. I'll give you the parrot, bro.
With
I'll
several
give you
powerful
that.
abilities, not the least of which is their sonic shriek, which can drive away just about any player who invaded their territory, especially when
I'll
employed
give
by
you
a
that,
coordinated
dude. Parrots
team.
are cool as fuck.
In addition, due to their prehensile beak, parrots have the highest dexterity of any bird, putting them among the best users of the tool use ability. And with an extremely high lifespan, if there was any build that can
And they can
replace
talk
humans
shit, bro.
if humans ever get their intelligence nerfed, I'd bet on the parrot. I made an entire video
Bro,
on parrot.
a parrot does not play, bro. A parrot will talk shit, bro. If you came home from a long day of work, your parrot be like, hey, welcome home. But you musty as hell with your stank ass. Better get your broke ass up in that shower. That's why you working 9 to 5, 3 jobs every single fucking day, cause you broke as shit. Now get your stank ass in that fucking shower so I don't gotta smell you, bro. Parrots don't give a shit.
Humans ever get their intelligence nerfed, I'd bet on the parrot. I made an entire video on parrots if
Okay.
you're interested.
Who's
but
number
when it comes
one?
to intelligence, there's one avian build that argues
Who's the number one bird that's supposedly so much better than the ostrich? All right, so much better than the fucking falcon and the hawk and the owl, right? And the flamingo. Tell me, enlighten me, oh wise one.
arguably outclasses them.
COVID! Oh my gosh! We can't escape it, bro. It's everywhere. Bro, when they said COVID was airborne, they were right. Ha! They were fucking right, dude. That's crazy.
Birds, such as magpies, crows, and ravens, also opt for a high
Oh, magpies, crows, and ravens. Okay, ravens and crows?
Corvids, such as magpies,
Okay.
crows, and ravens, also opt for a high intelligence playstyle, but with a far more expansive social aspect to it. While plenty of bird builds use cooperative team strats, the best Corvids operate using a network effect, where knowledge is shared with a huge amount of players over vast distances. This knowledge can include useful points of interest, or even blacklists of dangerous areas or
Dude, so they
players to
literally
avoid.
they
But
do
e-
like a whole recon mission. Bro, bro, they're literally like, it's like a four-man, it's like Naruto, bro. It's like a four-man squadron. And they're using battle strategies to subdue the opponent, bro. That's kind of fire, I'm not gonna
Even
lie.
individually, Corvids have a lot going for them.
I'm not gonna lie.
With significantly higher stealth than parrots, Corvids are much better at staying out of conflict. Their pointy beaks, while not as useful for tool use, are a much better combat tool for dealing quick damage. It's also more useful for pressuring and poking opponents, or for provoking larger players into battle, so that they can reap the benefits of the aftermath. Corvids are one of the best builds at making
Bro,
use of
he hyped up them two cats and got them to fight each other.
human-made items, and quickly figure out ways of abusing the system to score quick loot. All in all, Corvids are basically what you'd get if you gave monkeys wings. Easily a top-tier build. So
That's
there you
hard.
have it. The complete
That's hard. Okay, I'll tell you what I disagree with. Ostrich is S. Okay, put ostrich up to the S. Alright? Ostrich is cool as fuck. Put ostrich up to the S. The fucking goose? Better move that weak ass goose duff all the way the fuck down here to F. Fuck geese. I do not fuck with geese. You know what else you gotta move down? Them annoying ass woodpeckers. Annoying ass woodpeckers. Move that. It's this motherfucker. Move him down to D. Right? The songbirds, move that down to C. Okay? Owls also go up to S. Owls also go up to S. Okay? That's what I'm doing, right? Chicken I feel like is at least a B, bro. Because, yeah, like, they're not fit for defense against the ops, but they make a delicious 6-piece family bucket, extra crispy, Nashville hot, with a side of mac and cheese, bro. So, dude, honestly, bro, some of this I agree with, right? Owls are cool as fuck. Falcons, hawks, and eagles are cool as fuck. Just learned about the secretary bird. Those are cool as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Pelicans, flamingos, and ostriches. You know what I'm saying? Fuck geese, fuck pigeons, fuck them songbirds, okay? That's my opinion.